Okay, so we're going to assume at this stage that we have the languages component installed in the various languages that we're looking for, and that we're in a position where we can start making some translations. Obviously, we've got the language component installed, so we have the containers for the languages, but what we don't have is the actual translations themselves. So we need a system to manage those. So even though this will already be installed and configured for you, I want to show you how to install the language system. So you just go to Extensions, Manage, choose File, and I've already downloaded the translation here. So it's called FA Lang. I'm going to install that. That should just take a moment to install. And once that's actually installed, that gives us the ability to manage our translations. And you'll see there it says the installation was successful. Now, as you'll remember before, we went to languages and we installed the content language for Spanish. So we have the ability to make a translation in Spanish, but what we don't have is the translation itself, and that's what this component does. So if we go to Components, FA Lang, and we'll see the translations there. We can select the Spanish language, and then we can select a component. So for example, a K2 item, and it will list all the K2 items, and it will tell us if it's been translated. Clearly it hasn't. And it lists orphans as well, and it lists content elements as well. So it tells us what we have available to translate, menus, modules, tags, etc. To be fair, you will only use the menus and the K2 items, possibly the K2 categories as well, and that's pretty much it. But what we need to do is be able to display these languages in the front end as well. So if we go to Extensions and Modules, we'll see here the language switcher is there. And I've said to the language switcher, hide the title, which is this here. We don't need that, we just want to display the flags. Put it in the position header C, which is at the top right hand corner, typically where you'd find language translations. And there's another load of options here that we're not going to use. Well, some we will, but the main ones like use drop down, advanced drop down, we're not going to touch. But you can pretty much customize this and have it display any way you choose. On the menu assignment, I've said display this on all pages, and there's some options there only available with the paid version, and some advanced options which we won't go into. We don't need those. All you really need to do is turn off the title so it doesn't display that, choose a location and publish it, and make sure that it's available on all pages. But I've already configured that for you at this stage, and this is what it looks like on the website. So if we go to the front of the website, we have the Spanish flag there, and we have the English flag. Now, something you'll notice if you look down in the bottom left hand corner is as I hover over the Spanish flag, it shows /ES for the Spanish language, and over the English flag /EN for English. Now I'm going to jump into the English version and just scroll down a little bit and see here we've got some content. Scroll back up, go to Spanish, and the content is almost identical. I haven't translated it, but I have put a small X at the beginning to mark it as different. And I'll show you how I did that. We're going to the back end here, and we go to Components, FA Lang, and Translation. And what I'm going to do right from the beginning, I go to Translation, I select the language I wish to translate in, and then I also select the element. I'm going to select items, and you'll see here that there are some items with a red dot, which means they're not translated, and this item here with a green tick, which means it's translated. Now, Joomla doesn't know that the Spanish in this article is perfect, that it's translated. All it knows is that I've gone into this article, edited it, and saved it. It's as simple as that. If I go now to the front end, the K2 items, and I find that article, the original article, and I edit it, let's say I just put a page break underneath there, save and close. That's not going to make any difference to the display. But if I go to the components and go to FA-lang and translation, you'll see now it has a little yellow light bulb. What it's saying to me is that the original item has changed. It doesn't tell me what has changed, it just tells me that the original item has changed. So I would have to go to the website, go to the front end, to the English version, and check it, and then go to the back end, to the translation, and then start making my translation. So I'm going to do something that's a little easier for me. I'm going to change locations. Okay, so at the top we've got locations, which is the original, and we're going to translate that into Spanish. And in Spanish that would be called ubicaciones. Now it's possible that sometimes there's a translation that you translate directly that isn't exactly the same, so you have to change it for something that makes more sense. And you'll see here as well, there's the alias. Now the alias cannot be left blank, otherwise it will default to the English version, so we have to put the Spanish version in. And you'll see here we have some original text. Now we can copy that directly into here. In fact, I'm going to leave the English there to help me a little bit. My Spanish isn't spectacular, but that should be enough just to show that we've made a translation. There's other things we need to translate as well. I'll just scroll down looking for the metadata. There we go, meta description and the meta keyword. I'm just going to put the same in for the meta description as well. Make sure that's published, something I always forget. Save and close. So now it's telling us that locations has been translated. So I'm going to go to the front end. We're in English at the moment, so I'm just going to click locations. Hopefully that displays in English. Yep. Now I'm going to switch it into Spanish. And it's changed to ubicaciones. You'll notice here the URL hasn't changed, so I'm just going to go back to the home page. I know why, it's because we haven't translated the menu item. Okay, so we go back to the translation manager, and instead of K2 items, we select menus. You see there we've got locations, it has a red dot, so I'm going to open that. Ubicaciones, ubicaciones. Okay, that's pretty much it. Ooh, publish, keep forgetting that. Right, watch the menu now. It hasn't changed, and I'll tell you why. We didn't clear the cache. We'll go back to the back end, clear the cache. One of the things that we do with all of our websites is we cache the data for the end user, so the website loads much quicker. You'll see here the average site speed is just over 1 second, and that's why, because we're caching data. So we clear the cache, go back to the front end, refresh. Hey presto, it says ubicaciones, but it should really be capitalized. So let's just go back in. Components, FA-lang, translation. And we're not translating the alias, just the actual item itself. Save and close. Again, we need to clear the cache. Delete. Force a refresh. There we go. Click Ubicaciones. Fantastic. We've got that there. Obviously there's no image, but we'll add that later. That's not a problem. Let me switch into English. And you'll see the URL changes, the menu changes, and the content. Spectacular. Then all we need to do is optimize that individual item. That's pretty much it, and you can translate all the menu items this way. All you need to do is select the language that you want to translate into, select the item, be it a menu, a K2 item or category, and then do the translation. Any questions? Just get in touch.